Hi there, everybody. It's Ryan here, and just want to talk about NFC. I had the opportunity the other day that Sony sent me some of these little NFC tags, and NFC, if you're not aware, it means near field communication, and it's a great little kind of like RFID kind of tags. The idea is there's little bits of chips that have some information put in here, and by putting it close to an item that has an NFC reader in it, you can get it to activate and do something. So I was really excited. We've heard a lot about NFC being used in Google Wallet to pay for things like our PayPass on our Visas. And so I'm just loving the day when we can take my phone and pay for something by tapping it. So I was really excited to play around with NFC because that's something I've never really done yet. I really kind of want to play around. But pretty quickly I was finding out what the limitations of NFC are and what you can and what you can't do with it. I was really hoping a lot, but anyways, when you get a Sony phone, they have this NFC widget built in, which for the life of me, I can't really figure out what it does. I mean, it has a tag that looks like one of these things, but it never really, if you scan them, nothing really ever does anything. It doesn't highlight blue or whatever. There's a quick switch on and off for NFC, and a favorite button that you hit up there that'll switch over to whatever settings you want. And I'll talk about that in a bit. But in order to actually really play with the NFCs to get them to do what you'd want, you'd have to download a Sony app called SmartConnect. SmartConnect is pretty powerful, very much like Tasker, if you've ever played with Tasker. The idea is, now what I've done is they have a bunch of preset ones. I've got rid of them just so we can play with it. The idea is that based on a specific set of instances, it'll do something. So for example, let's make a task or an event called home. Okay, and the idea is, okay, what are the triggers? Okay, whenever you had a trigger here, either a device or a time, and if I say a certain specific time of the day or whatever, I can say device, and I can say, well, I plug in my headphones, or I turn on my headset, or let's say I scan the red tag. Okay, and when I come into the red tag, what would we do? Now this is home, so I'll say turn Bluetooth off, and then find a bunch of different little trigger actions we can do here, and turn Wi-Fi on, and we can again add more triggers if we want, and we can say that's done. So we'll enable this option. Okay. So the idea then is, let's say I'll turn off Wi-Fi, pretend like I've gone out for the day. Now I have Bluetooth on, I have Wi-Fi off. If I scan, I always have not so great luck with NFC tags. So I got a red chip. Did it not work? Oh, let's enable it. Okay, right, I disabled it. Anyways, so I'll scan the red chip, pop up saying it's at home, turn Bluetooth off, turn Wi-Fi on. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And I'll turn Bluetooth back on just because I always tend to use it. Okay, so a pretty neat little thing that we can play around with. And again, depending on how you want to do this, and I'm just going to delete this just to get rid of it. Delete that event. And you can play around with all sorts of different little things. Let's call it a test. And you can play around with, okay, well, if I plug in my Bluetooth headset, or sorry, just a headset, right? And it's, 9 o'clock or whatever, I'm going to do a certain thing. And again, I can have certain different features on, make a call, open a certain URL, speak at current time, whatever you want to do. What is weird though is, actually, you can do is when I say toggle. So toggle is kind of cool that you can turn off, and the next time you scan it, turns it on again, so back on or off. So let's just say Bluetooth toggle, that's the red, oh sorry, that's the headset one. Let's change that device to the red tag. Just so we can, so again, I grab this guy here, scan it, it'll switch Bluetooth off. So it just toggled it. scan it again. Oops. And it turns it back on. Neat little thing if you do that a fair bit. Again, the idea, we're looking for something that you do a fair bit. Now, the only problem with it then is that it doesn't work unless I have, you know, if I get somebody else and I say, hey, here, you want to play with this little neat little feature here? Let's just turn on NFC, make sure it's on. NFC's got to be on. Okay. If I take this guy here, make sure you guys can see it, turn this right down. It didn't do anything. It doesn't know what I programmed in this phone. So that's where one of the limitations is. It only works for the phones that has the red tag programmed for certain features in this phone. If you want to play with something different, you have to get a different app for that. So that's a quick little review of how to use their SmartConnect. I want to do another video talking about specifically the NFC Task Launcher. It's going to be similar, but also an NFC Task Writer or NFC Tag Writer. So quick little review of these guys here. They're a neat little thing, but again, you have to think about what are things they're going to do fairly consistently, fairly obvious. I haven't quite figured out for me what's the best way to work that. So, like, I haven't programmed the blue thing to do anything yet, and I can set around and I can go through those steps. Saying, okay, Bluetooth, and it's saying it's the car one. Anyways, that's that little cool feature. Okay, thanks.